All right, the Supreme Court rules for a Colorado baker in a same-sex wedding case. This story started in 2012 when a gay couple went shopping for a wedding cake. The owner said that he could not do that because of his religious beliefs. The legal battle began. Remember, this is 2012, I said. Um, a quick recap on the First Amendment. It guarantees freedom concerning religion, expression, assembly, and the right to petition. The fines were upheld in a similar case in Oregon with another bakery refusing to sell the cake to a gay couple. But in Colorado, the fines were not. And this is a victory for religious liberty. I want to ask you two, do people have the right to the fruits of one's labor?
Yes.
No. Simply put, the moment you start making me give my work, give my labor, give my services to someone else, regardless of whether I want to or not, you're talking going right back to the 1800s. And this entire country was built on the idea that if you don't want to associate yourself with a person, a group, or the opposite, if you want to associate yourself with a person or a group, you have the right to do so, and that right shall not be infringed, regardless of the circumstance. And I'm not saying I agree with it. I am vehemently against it, but if there was a guy next door to me that had a swastika tattooed on his forehead and was parading around in Nazi uniforms, I would not have a right to go over there and shoot him, just because that's how this country is built on. Now, if he appeared to be a danger, that's when you start reporting and that kind of thing. And it goes the exact same to business. If my religion dictates that I don't serve people with a particular view or particular lifestyle, such as a gay couple who's getting married, the law has no place saying what my business can and cannot do. They're not there to regulate who I serve, only how I serve them.
Yeah. And this is a problem that the free market can fix, and we don't even need government intervention. If people are so offended that this bakery will not serve a gay couple a cake, then they can voice their opinion with their wallet. Stop going there. The more people that stop going there, then that bakery won't even exist to be, or they'll change their policy to want to attract the community to come in and buy the cakes.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think that especially when it comes to religion, the Bible's against homosexuality, which is kind of funny when, you have black people who are like mad Christian, but then like pro LGBT. And I'm like, yeah, your Bible says that, whatever. Anyway, think about it like this. You're raised a certain way your whole life, and homosexuality is almost evil to you, right? It's like an abomination. And then now you're forced to create this cake with two men or two women or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You could actually get anxiety. Like, I'm trying to put myself in a particular person's shoes. And I'm like, well, what if that, like, I'm making a cake and my hand is shaking and I'm just like, look at this shit. Look at this. I can't. This is a sin. God wouldn't want this. Like, you could have a panic attack. So I don't think that we should force people to go against their religious beliefs. And look at it like this, right? We talk all this, Islamophobia. Man, they drop gay people on their head off buildings in Saudi Arabia, and some of these other Arab countries. But nobody says anything. The same SJWs who are talking about refugee crisis and affirming the lives of POC and Islamophobia, if they went over there, they'd get Islamophobia, because that gay stuff does not cut it.
No.
I mean, and even in a broader aspect, very, very close friend of mine out here in Vegas, he is Jewish and his family is Jewish, and they're good people. One of the Jewish traditions, they don't eat pork. They do not consume pig. Well, when I have him over, if I'm cooking in the kitchen, he offers to help, but I don't make him help me cut up the pig or cook the hot dogs, because that's against his religion, and I would not ask him to do that. If I did ask him to do that, he would say no. I wouldn't be offended. I wouldn't be upset, even if he'd offered to help, because that's his right to say no. That's his right to not go against his religion, even in a private setting. And on a business, it's even more important because that's your public face. That is your values and your morals being upheld, or showing that you actually don't care about your own morals and your own values. So just a little food for thought there.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree with that. You know, I just feel like you want the cake, like that's the only baker in town. Like, where do you live? That's the only baker in town. Like, right? You could have ordered the cake online, if anything. It's just like, no, I want you to make my cake. You, but I don't like you. So what? Make my cake. It's just like, but I don't like you. What if I like put razor blades in your cake, like the Beagle Boys and DuckTales?
Yeah.
Is that what you want? Because I could do that.
That's a hell of a throwback, man. Damn, I missed that show.
It's back on TV now.
Yeah, but it's bootleg as hell.
Yeah, I'm scared to watch it for the exact same reason I don't want to watch the new Teen Titans stuff.
But it has David Tennant as the voice of Scrooge McDuck.
It's got SJW stuff all up in it. They
really? Oh, I didn't see it.
I caught it.
That doesn't surprise me.
I got kids, and it's just like, you know, entertainment used to be great when you could say whatever you want, but nowadays it's just like, now they're just trying to put all this awareness into the cartoons. Just like, yo, can we just have fun and like, you know what I mean? Just like whatever. Like Beagle Boys had guns. Like right now, what do the Beagle Boys have? Like a water gun? It's just like, cool.
I miss the days that have been long past where we had Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes, where they actually designed the shows to be watchable for your kids, but have jokes and gems and other stuff for the adults who are watching with their kids. Stuff that the kids would not get. Like you look at Ren and Stimpy today, and you're like, oh my God, I watched this when I was 8. How did I not see this? But the adults that were watching it with you were laughing their asses off. Like,
yeah.
But I wish we'd go back to that with cartoons.
Yeah, I know. Cartoons actually were for adults. But like you said, they started making them so they could, you know, keep the attention of both audiences.
I remember Tom and Jerry and early Looney Tunes, and they were racist as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And they really pushed the envelope. But there was no censor. That's how we should be. If people don't want to watch a show because it offends them, do what they used to do back in the day. Change the channel. Yeah. Stop. It's the same thing when it comes to listening to people that are conservatives or have a different viewpoint from you. If nobody wants to hear what I have to say, if they're offended, you don't have to keep listening to me. Leave me alone. I leave you alone. And
you know what we need right now? We need to bring back Married with Children.
My childhood.
Yep.
Married with Children right now would make liberals lose their shit every episode. This is so wrong. He's a Republican.
But Hotep, he grew up on that. All the children from that time, right? Yeah. And a lot of us are liberal now. So what happened? They grew up on conservative-ish shows, Roseanne, Home Improvement, Married with Children. But why did they change? Is it college?
Yes, yeah, it's a good point. Hell yeah, it's college. College is a liberal indoctrination center. So that definitely plays a part.
California is the hub.
But
as a parent, as a parent, you could probably understand this. Little kids don't care about this kind of stuff. They just want to do what they want to do and have fun and enjoy their life, which is how we're supposed to be as adults. But then somehow we get tainted growing up when we're a teenager, and then we're terrible, terrible people. Why can't we be like that?
Well, here's the thing. When you become an adult, you don't have time to protest and march and all that shit. The only people that got time are like single kids. So even when you look at the black movement back in the 50s and 60s, a lot of those people were all kids, you know, college students, you know, older high school students. It was a very young movement. Black Panther Party was a very young movement. I mean, there's only people that got time to do that stuff. But I think these people are manipulated with media and dollars and I think their heart is in the right place. Their mind is just easily manipulated.
Yep. I seen Tom Arnold on the Michael Knowles show today. Have you ever watched Michael Knowles Hotep?
I've been on his show before.
Oh, that's right. But Tom Arnold was there today, and Michael couldn't even have a great discussion with him. They just kept arguing back and forth, and Michael was very calm,
Yeah.
trying to be open-minded, listen, and
Yeah.
then give his rebuttal, but he couldn't. And this reminds me of what Ben Shapiro's famous for. Facts don't care about your feelings. Tom was doing a classic liberal move, just going by feelings.
Yeah.
And I hope he feels good when he goes home at the end of the day, because he looked like a terrible person on that show, and Michael came out as with the ideological win.
Yeah, Michael's a very level-headed guy. He's very intelligent. He's not going to get into an emotional battle with you. I will, but
I mean, but even then, there's a huge difference between an argument and a difference of an opinion in a conversation about those. The same Jewish friend that I have is a liberal, and we get along famously. We disagree on a lot of different things, but when stuff like this happens in the news, we just talk about it. And sometimes, most of the time, we don't come to a firm agreement one way or the other. We're both extremely stubborn people, but a lot of the times it does open us up to a new viewpoint about how people could see the same reality in a very different light. And same thing with Michael Knowles, Ben Shapiro, speak softly, carry a big stick.
Yeah.
Their stick is all of those facts, those statistics, the analytical data, the research, and the time to sound and present yourself as an intellectual instead of just a gibbering mess of emotion and screaming and crying and tears, and that's the break point.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, people will do what they're rewarded for. So in these times, you know, like the fuck Trump statement, and everybody gets up and claps. So you know, subconsciously you're like, oh wow, like you get an award for saying fuck Trump. So it's just like now everybody's going to follow suit. You know, that's what happened with the whole Black Lives Matter thing. You know, you got a girl, she climbed some pole and now she's a hero. You know, and you got people who, it's basically like narcissism almost, where you know, they're just like seeking attention, so they'll play dead in a highway because they want to go viral on social media. You know, it's really about the ego these days. So, but again, it just comes back to the point that we're creating a reward system based upon the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, as long as you follow this, we'll reward you. If you don't, we'll blackball you. So everybody's kind of like, well, this is the status quo now, so that's what we're going to follow.
What if this was Obama and people are saying F Obama? The media would have an outrage over this. And so in Hollywood, the liberals will go nuts.
I've heard
it's a very double standard.
I've heard that argument before, but people were saying fuck Obama. You know what I'm saying? It was Obama. Obama got his share. He didn't get it like Trump. Don't get me wrong. Like, Trump's getting it worse in his first year or so than Obama did in all 8 years. But Obama did get his fair share of, you know, attacks. I think all the presidents get attacked. You know, nobody's really special. I think Trump is a special case. I've never seen a president so hated like Trump. Like, there's no comparison.
Even before he was elected.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this in my life, which is why I'm like, nah, I'm definitely got to be on the conservative side, because I'm not about to be on the wrong side of history.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, actually, what you just said kind of points out today's polarization. You're right. Depending on what side of the political aisle you're on now and your ideals, you're about to be on a winning or a losing side, and that's going to have effects on you and your development for years to come. And it's a sad truth, but unfortunately, when you've got an extremely powerful and extremely public group of people like CNN and other news stations go up and applaud people for the polarization and make it even more mainstream to become more and more and more extreme, that's kind of the way you have to look at it these days. Is unfortunately there's going to be a winner and a loser, and up until now, it's never been viewed like that. So.
Yeah. That's why we gotta win, man.
Yeah.
I don't even view it as winning or losing. I view it as right and wrong. Right now, when I moved from being a liberal to conservative, I noticed there was something wrong out there, and the demonization. Everybody's a racist, homophobe, or whatever, just for having a different opinion, and the hatred towards Trump. I knew there was something wrong in the culture, and I moved towards this because it felt right. I don't even care about the winning and losing part. In the end, we just have to do what's right.
Oh, I care about winning. If we don't win, you're gonna wake up in the morning with a boyfriend laying next to you.
Your state appointed transgender queer boyfriend.
Exactly.
Who identifies as Cool Ranch Dorito.
You know. So if we don't win, man, I hope you like men. I hope you like chicks with dicks.
All right, Hotep, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We love you, man. Really appreciate it. And I hope you can come back on in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to come back. I'm super sleepy. I ain't get no sleep today, so I'm like not myself right now, so I apologize. But anytime you want to have me back, I'm definitely there.
Great.
It's all good. It has been an absolute pleasure, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Especially this is our second episode, so having a person like you on the show is just inspiring. That we're actually going to be able to get our message out there. Yeah. So, and yes, I would definitely love to have you back on the show sometime, man.
Yeah, I always said like a lot of people, they get to a certain status, and like Jay-Z and Beyonce, for example, right? Like, what are the media outlets that they speak to? What are the media outlets that they give their exclusiveness to? And it's always like the top media. And I'm like, do you realize that if you gave the exclusive to like some independent media, you could empower independent media, but you choose to go and speak to Barbara Walters or somebody else who already has a platform built. And I understand it's to get your sales. And it's like, fine, do those. Like, I'll be on InfoWars tomorrow, right? But I don't want to be the guy that goes, oh, you only have 13 subscribers and it's your second episode. Call me back when you hit 100 subscribers. I don't want to be that guy that's kind of corny. At the end of the day, it's the internet. This stuff's still going to get out there. So let's just work together and share it.
That's beautiful, man. Really appreciate it.
Word up.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully y'all learned something. It was very nice to hear Hotep's perspective on life, politics, and cakes.